What's up, y'all, and welcome to another episode of Deviant TV. This is a show all about humanizing the Black queer experience. I'm your host, Micah Marquez, and joining me today is the very handsome and astute 5hahem, aka Dr. Durag. How you feeling today, 5hahem?
I'm feeling good. How are you?
I'm feeling awesome. I'm actually going to cheers here with you. I know we both need a little hair of the dog.
Listen, drank a little too much last night.
We had a good time yesterday. Mm-hmm. And yeah, I'm really glad that we got that time together because I learned so much about you. Where to begin? Let's start with your swag. Where you from? What is this? Yeah, like.
Where am I from? I'm from Baltimore, down the hill specifically, like over east.
How much does that play into how you show up today?
I think all of my like childhood, every like bit of like energy, every bit of creativity that I have is a direct result of like where I'm from, but also like how I was raised. Like my grandfather was a very creative person, and I think through all of the lessons he taught me, apply it to also my fashion. But also my sister would claim that she taught me how to dress. She's also a Taurus, so yeah, it's so many things, but like definitely being from Baltimore influences how I dress. Niggas where I'm from love a set of grills, and you know, I just
Can we see your grill? Ooh.
Something subtle. It's a subtle pair, this one, yeah. But yeah, no, I'm deeply influenced about where I'm from, which is why I'm Dr. Durag. You know?
Dope. And tell me a little bit about the tats, starting with this one on your face, under your eye.
I love tattoos. I actually got my first tattoo in the 8th grade.
Oh shit.
I know. Okay. And it was so wild because like it's a skull with drumsticks because I used to play the drums. Okay. I was in drum corps in middle school. So ever since I was in 8th grade, I was just like, I was obsessed with tattoos. And just over the years, I've gotten so many. Every time somebody's like, can you tell me how many tattoos you have? I literally do not keep count. But the face tattoo is so funny because I got my first one, which is this little heart on the side of my face at a party. They had like a setup with this like lady doing tooth gems, but also another one who was doing tattoos, like flash tattoos. And me and my friend were like, we should just get ones on our face. And my other friend was like, do not do that because that's crazy. But I definitely have always wanted a face tattoo because that's like the ultimate tattoo to me. Yeah. And when I got the one there, like it just set off it opened the floodgates. And like a couple weeks later, I got this one, and it just stands for like strong person or resilient person. Wow. And it's in Arabic. But people really thought I was manic when I got my face tattoo, even though I have all these other tattoos like all over my body.
So did you like, I heard you say drums. Were you like an alternative type Black kid, like listening to rock and?
Yeah.
Okay.
But not. I was kind of a little bit of everything. Okay. Like I pride myself on being eclectic. Like I had friends from every walk of life, pretty much. Okay. But I was definitely like I had a My Chemical Romance phase. Like I was a huge MCR fan. But I really can find something in everywhere.
But I know you said your love was hip hop.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, my father raised me on hip hop. Like,
and who you have like a favorite artist?
My favorite rapper? Yeah. Oh my God, it's so many. I love like female rap. So it's like, and I love all of the girls, don't get me wrong, but I specifically love Mona Leo and Flo Milli. Okay. Like those two are some of my favorite rappers because I feel like they're so slept on. And especially with Mona Leo, like her punchlines are so hilarious. Okay. Like I love rappers who have fun with it, but you can tell when someone really studies the art of hip hop, and those two people I think really do a good job at that.
Okay. What's your thoughts on the queen of rap then?
Beyonce? I'm kidding. Nah, Nicki Minaj. I think Nicki is so talented. Like it is undeniable talent. I still think of her BET cipher where she said, just call me Dracula because all I do is count chips. Like who thinks of that? Like that's really, so I think she's really super talented. I'm not about to get into the controversy.
No, give us the full scope.
You're trying to get
full
me.
Scope. Yeah.
You're trying to get me jumped.
No, not
And
at
I'm
all.
not falling for the trap. Like I know that. I know that
Please.
trick.
No.
I know that one. No, Barb's, if you're listening, shouts out to Nicki Minaj. Yeah.
We are here about you. You are Dr. Durag, a therapist, and I think it's important to hear your take on what is healthy and not. What has the queen done that could potentially be unhealthy?
Oh, okay. I'm not going to speak on Nicki, but what I will say is when you exist in a patriarchy and you have to survive in male-dominated spaces in a patriarchy, sometimes you can take on traits like pick-me behavior in order to survive.
Yeah.
I try not to fault anybody for how they survive through oppressive systems, and I will leave it at that.
That is such a gracious, beautiful answer, and I love that. Okay, Doja or Doechii?
Doechii.
Okay,
No shade to Doja.
Cardi or Meg?
Meg.
Okay, Lotto or JT?
JT.
Period. Okay. All right, lit.
No shade.
All right. So now we're gonna get into these questions that I have prepared for you.
Okay.
Now, hopefully, that we know a little bit more about you.
Barbs, don't jump me, please.
I
was just kidding.
I wouldn't let them. Your work centers so much on healing and empowerment. What were some early experiences in your life that shaped your relationship to care?
Oof. That's a really good question. I actually remember so vividly the day when I was a kid and the social worker took me and my brother from my parents. And that was such a painful memory for so many years of my life. And it really actually made me not want to do what I'm doing now. So the fact that I am a social worker and therapist this was not on my to-do list, I promise. But that day really introduced me to so many systems that I was unaware of as a kid. And the year and some change I spent in like kinship care, like in the foster care system, really shaped the way that I approached like other people. I know what it's like to basically be in situations where people are in need, where people are being harmed, where you're being stripped from your resources, your community, and I try to approach people with a certain amount of grace. I ain't perfect, don't get me wrong, but it really did help me to expand my empathy, I think.
Yeah.
So I kind of like had a soft spot for other people since I was a kid. I started organizing when I was in high school, doing like community work, and I don't know, it just kind of always fit me like a glove.
Yeah.
Because I, again, look back to those moments where I grew up in like the hood. I grew up in experiencing foster care, and I know firsthand how much damage that could do to people. Yeah, so
like, shout out to you for making the best of a bad situation. And I also want to just reflect on, like, do you feel like you were robbed of a childhood?
I have, and I promise I'm not trying to make light of the stuff that I've gone through. I have a Pisces father and a Cancer mother. I'm a Taurus. I feel like more of an adult than my parents, and that's no shade if my mother watches this. I love you, mama. However, I unfortunately at a young age had to learn how to like fend for myself. I have been working since I was 14. Cannot name a time I've had a job, didn't have a job since 14. I've been buying my own school shit. I still remember like when my first day of middle school, for example, my mother took me on the bus. I never caught the bus before this. She took me on the bus. We drove took the bus all the way to my school. She got off the bus and she said, "This is how you get to school. Take the opposite way back, figure it out." And I have like, that day was pretty much when I was on my own. So I would say, yes, I was robbed of a childhood, but I don't regret, like, I don't hate my parents for any of the things that happened. At least I don't anymore, because it was necessary for me to become the person that I am. I thank them because, well, I ain't gonna say I thank them. That's a stretch. I ain't gonna let them off the hook that bad. But I am appreciative of the experiences of having to figure shit out on my own because it taught me how to be adaptive and resourceful when shit gets tough. I typically can find a solution. And it makes me, like, honestly good at what I do because I help other people find solutions when there's things going wrong.
Yeah.
I like connecting people to resources. I think it's important work. And unfortunately, I had to learn it myself. So,
and I mean, at least what you've shared thus far on camera, those experiences did not relate to your being queer. And we know that like so much of the adultification of Black queer kids in particular is a reality. Like we are often made to fend for ourselves. I was disowned when I was 18 and had to figure it the fuck out. Many other kids are made to do that much earlier in life, and hence we have chosen families. What is your wish for Black queer youth? If not this reality that we face.
I wish for a world where Black queer youth do not have to worry about whether or not they will be loved when they become who they are, when they express themselves. I dream of a world where Black queer youth don't ever have to struggle to feel seen. I dream of a world where they feel like they don't have to hide who they are. I dream of a world where they can take up as much space as they want. And I actually try to make that a reality as much as I can. I have a queer nephew and a queer niece, and you know, I keep them really close to me because I really care that they don't feel how I felt growing up in the world, because it can be very isolating when you're Black and queer. I actually saw a post on social media the other day that said these kids have it so easy compared to a couple decades ago. And that was just so offensive to me because we exist in a world where even last year, the amount of anti-LGBTQ legislation that came out was like record breaking. These kids have a lot on their shoulders. They unfortunately are tasked with some really heavy burdens that have been placed on them for generations before. And it's my dream that we lighten that load on them as much as we can, which is why it's important for us to show up for the youth.
Amen. Okay. So just taking this back a step, you have incredible swag. You have this ethereal, like, just like presence, you know, hanging out with you yesterday.
Thank you.
I definitely was sitting back like doughy-eyed. I told you a couple times, like, this is, you know, mama's married now, but God knows if I was single, I'd be like, damn.
You're
like,
amazing too. Like,
I really appreciate that. I really appreciate that. How do you navigate the space of being both like a healing professional in the community and a sexual being? Like, because you got power. like you, yeah.
I like, you know what? I'm gonna keep it a being. I typically move like in silence when it comes to like my sex life. I try to, because it is so difficult being public facing and also having to like navigate this community, because sometimes people view me in a way that is like annoying. Like I'm not allowed to have access to certain things.
Yeah.
I don't get it, but yeah. So I navigate it by fucking with niggas who know how to keep their mouth shut. Like,
Okay.
that's the main thing. I'll be honest. Like the men that I typically deal with, like, they know how to keep their mouth shut, and they have shit going on themselves. So.
Okay, so it's not like a basement, bro. Like, somebody who's not allowed to come out the basement.
A basement?
Like,
No.
Okay,
That's
okay.
that's not my tea. But
it's not giving like DL niggas.
No.
Okay.
That's no shade to the DLs. Well, actually, yeah, shade to the DLs.
Yeah,
nah,
like,
that's not my tea. But
okay. Let's talk about staying on your swag. We kind of talked about this yesterday, how, you know, your love of both metals and ink is neither, I mean, I guess in our world it comes off as masculine.
Yeah.
But like we talked about, like if it were on a woman, it'd also be swagged out. Like, how do you navigate like gender fluidity as well as, just like the way you show up in the world? Yeah,
we were talking yesterday, and that was such a good conversation, by the way. You're so easy to talk to. when we were talking, I told you about the time when I was a kid and my sisters, I have a lot of sisters, like 9 sisters. Like,
You're not blaming anyone in particular.
Yeah. I'm blaming one in particular, but she would say this ain't happened. My sisters were like trying on a pair of heels and they were stumbling around, like didn't know how to walk in them. And I put them on and I was a kid, but like I was strutting up and down the room. Like, I mean, you would have thought like, you know, it was America's Next Top Model in there, no shade. And I think it's because she's a hater, but she snatched me out of the heels and said, boys don't do that. Like that was basically one of many instances when I was a kid where I was kind of like removed from anything feminine. Like I was punished, like my father especially tried to beat the gay out of me so many times. And I think he knew for a very long time that I was a queer person and always resented me for it. So when I did eventually come out, it was really important to me that I be as loud about who I am, be as clear about who I am, be as unapologetic about who I am as possible. And through that, I also like realized like I frankly don't identify much with manhood. I didn't identify with boyhood. And I think I was punished so much because I always wanted to step outside of what it means to be who I am. Like I didn't like the prescription that they were putting on me, who they told me I was supposed to be. My parents had a specific vision around who I would be, and it's just not who I am. And I think when I look at what it means to be like a man, for example, I don't know, I've never really quite understood it. I think of it like a performance that I'm not, everything is a performance really. Like again, like me, like in the grills, like the ink, like the clothes, like it's all a performance. And this is how I like to dress my avatar, which is what I call myself sometimes. My body, it's just like, it's fun. But at the end of the day, I don't think any of it defines who I am. And my spirit, like I don't really feel beholden to gender. I don't think it's like the main, it's not the main show when it comes to me, and I don't think it's that important. So gender has always been just something that's kind of secondary to me. And I find that for a lot of other people, it's not secondary, and it's what they've been told is the most important thing about them. And yeah, I identify as non-binary because I don't quite get like the extra emphasis around gender. And I never really quite related to it, even as a kid.
So I definitely can relate that there is like crazy rigidity around masculinity and the identity of manhood. I still think it is absurd that niggas can't wash their ass without being considered sassy. I think that's what they're calling it on the Twitter now. But yeah, like what do you make of the fact that even in like the Black queer community, we have assigned currency to masculinity? And I can just, name for myself that in, within some of my friend circles, I've met Black queer men that are kind of meeting like the non-binary community and identity with a bit of vitriol. And, I think because, they're, again, like assigning currency to masculinity. What do you make of all that?
I'm really happy you used the word currency because that's exactly what it is. It's a social currency. And I think it's so ridiculous, like how in our community we are so fixated on the wrong shit, gender and masculinity being one of them. It was an incident that I even saw a couple weeks ago where it was two, they were fine, like trade, it was given trade. And they had posted up and everybody was on their body, like which is cool.
I know exactly what you're talking about.
It's cool. But when a femme queen posted a picture with the two of them, everybody started jumping on the femme queen, telling him he needs to move, get out the picture, and then some. And it just, I think that really highlights how antagonistic people are towards like more feminine people. And how homophobia itself is like rooted in like this patriarchal, anti-feminine like rhetoric. And I think it's so ridiculous that like people are so aggressive towards the more feminine people in our community. And well, first off, let's start here. Like a lot of y'all I'm not going to insult the people.
Insult the people.
A lot of y'all
Give them a good read. We need healing.
a lot of y'all aren't as masculine as you think, and that's
Yeah.
not a problem. And
Yeah.
I think that we should embrace a full spectrum
Yeah.
of what it means to be a person, which means like being masculine and feminine
Yeah.
at the same time. Like,
Yeah.
what does that even mean? I think
Yeah.
a lot of people don't question or explore gender outside of what they've been taught their entire lives. And once you do open the door to like question like, what the fuck is a man?
Right.
What is a woman? Like, what do these words mean? Who taught us this? Who taught us what masculinity was? Who taught us what femininity is?
Yeah.
What do these things actually mean?
Yeah.
You'll find that a lot of the stuff that you do, talk to the people, is a performance. You are performing. Shouts out to Judith Butler, who is a theorist, a feminist theorist that talks about gender being a performance. Gender is a performance. Like, all of it is make pretend and make believe. So to aggress people because you
Yeah.
you don't like the way that they're performing,
Yeah.
to me, it's fucking crazy.
It's crazy.
It's
Yeah.
crazy.
Now let me ask you, advance it just a step further. Would you date a boy that wears makeup?
I do and I have.
Okay, would you date a boy who can hit a death drop and does on a regular basis?
I do and I have. Yeah.
Period. Would you date a boy who wears a skirt regularly and heels?
I do and I have.
Period. Okay, you better. I just want to make sure you're not just talking about it, but you
No,
be about it.
like
Okay.
what? That does not bother me at all.
I love that.
Yeah.
I love that. I love me a soft top myself. So, yeah.
Facts.
So, anyways, all that said, going back to the conversation about just like the way you were raised and how you quickly found empathy, quickly found yourself into the role of being the healer. What brings you joy outside of like healing others? Where do you?
I don't consider myself to be a healer. More of a helper. Like, I think taking on that mantle or that like moniker is just so tacky and corny to me. And I say that because people heal themselves. I just help them come closer to answers. I'm not Mother Teresa. I'm not the Pope. I'm not like.
Oh no, you might be, baby.
No.
You might be the black gay pope.
Oh no, I do not want that. But yeah, I say that to say what brings me joy is like the people I surround myself with. I have like some of the best friends like in the world. Like, I love my friends so much. They are the only thing that's anchoring me here. My friends have quite literally saved my life on multiple occasions. And I think like community, I know we use that word a lot, like in such a flippant way, but it really is so essential to surviving in a world that is like really harsh towards all of us.
Yeah.
And I think my friends have like more than like showed up for me and made way more than even the little ways, but the big ways too. Like, that brings me joy.
So, give me one, if you can, short instant of wherein your friend saved your life.
Ooh.
You said quite literally. I just want a little brief short story. Yeah.
So I actually, and this is, I'm about to be vulnerable.
Come on.
I actually had a suicide attempt a couple years ago. And it was just a lot going on. I was under a lot of pressure. Frankly, I was the breadwinner for my family, taking care of a lot of people. It was so much happening in my life at the time. I just didn't even know if I had the strength to be here anymore.
Yeah.
My best friend, Yaya, shouts out to Yaya, like quite literally, my best friend quite literally was on his way to work. He said, you're not being your normal self. He completely, and he lives in Jersey and I live in Brooklyn. This nigga said, fuck this job. I'm on my way. He has a key to my house. So he came in, he found me and was just like, he stayed with me the whole night and just made sure I was good. And I don't want to get into the nitty gritty, but like, he really, in many ways, saved my life. And that was like a big moment and scary for both him and me afterwards. But it reminded me, it was a bad way to remind me that I am needed here and I'm wanted here. And yeah, I mean, that's a real way that my friends like saved my life.
Thank you so much for sharing that. That takes incredible bravery to be that vulnerable. And as I'm sure you know, there are statistically noted cases of higher depression and suicide rates in and among Black queer community.
Yeah.
What and how can you speak to that as a therapist and a helper?
I do want to say this though, because I know, like, as someone who is a therapist, how there's this like expectation that I'm supposed to be bionic in many ways.
Yeah.
It's not. It doesn't make me bad at my job that I had like suicidal ideation. I've had like that does not make me bad at my job. It just suicide is a thing that happens. People are so afraid of talking about it and around it. I think it's so important for us to have open conversations about it. I have worked on campaigns to help people learn how to talk about it. And if I had followed my own advice at the time and talked about it, I don't think it would have gotten as bad as it did. Like, I was just in a space where I felt like there was a lot of pressure. And I just want to say, if you are a Black queer person, if you're a person in general, I don't give a damn who you are. If you're feeling like you are in a dark space and you don't know who to go to somebody. Like, that's the number one thing. I know these conversations can be awkward, but it's so important to have awkward conversations when you are in a dark space, or you even sense a friend being in a space. Ask them, follow up, like anything. But yeah, it makes sense to feel like you don't want to be here. This is a harsh, cold world at times, but I do promise you that what you experience or go through sometimes can feel like it's eternal. It's temporary. A lot of the shit that we experience is temporary, and we just need each other here. And I think one of the best ways we can show up for each other is through holding each other when we are in these dark spaces. It happens.
I love so much of what you just said, and I also it made me reflect on the first time I attempted suicide. I was 15 years old. And I just want to also take note of the fact that, like you said, the world around me just seemed so bleak. I had recognized that I was queer. I recognized that I was Black, and I'm like, fuck, like, I'm never going to escape. Like, I'm always going to have this burden in this heavy cloud on and around me. And I think it is just so important to encourage Black queer youth to know that the world really does get better. Even if your family and community is not a safe space for you now, there's a whole community of people who are experiencing exactly what you're experiencing, and they're ready to love you. There's a chosen family ready to embrace you. And I think that that kind of representation is what was missing and would have helped me not attempt that at 15 years old. Which is so crazy to think about, because if I heard about a 15-year-old trying that today, I would just be heartbroken. How old were you when you first attempted, or ideated rather?
I had to be 14. Yeah.
Damn.
Just growing up in anti-queer environments is really hard, and I don't think enough people talk about it, and I think conversations like this are really important. I'm happy that both of us suck at killing ourselves.
We made it this far.
There are some good things to be bad at, you know, that's one of them. But I'd say all the time, I get asked quite often about people coming out. There are people who are uncomfortable with coming out and being a visible, and I don't know if this happens to you either, but when you're visibly queer and you have a platform, people typically, people who are closeted come to me often, and I try to be a soft place for those people to land. And when they come to me, I always let them know there is a community on the other side of this, waiting to love you. We are here, arms stretched wide open. And look, the gays get on my nerves. I ain't gonna hold you. Sometimes they get on my nerves. Every community is gonna have people who don't like each other, who don't get along, you name it. But the way I would slide about my people, I really mean that. The love outweighs everything else. And it's so important for people to know that there's a community who loves you. This community is full of love. You just, if you feel like it's not there, you're in the wrong place. But it's here. I promise.
Right. You and I, we talked about parents yesterday. The need for parents to grieve when their kids come out.
Yeah.
And hopefully in that grieving process, they're not also harming their kids.
Yeah.
Can you talk to me about that space of giving the parents of queer kids grace, particularly black parents who are also navigating being black in this fucking country?
Yeah.
And also holding them accountable to like not doing harm.
Yeah.
What does that look like? What do you advise as a therapist?
So this is one of those topics where people are going to not probably like everything that I have to say about it. Mm-hmm. However, it is like parents grieve when their children are queer. A lot of the times and not all the time, because some parents are just like smart.
Actually good parents? What?
And this is not a pass so much as it is an acknowledgement of the process that's happening. Mm-hmm. I was a family therapist when I first started being a therapist, which is like pure chaos. Starting at that is like, I was working for an agency that specifically did family therapy. And when I tell you, I have witnessed over and over, like parents not even be able to recognize or understand that they're grieving because their child is gonna have like another strike against them, like especially if it's a black queer person. They're grieving because they envisioned their child in one specific way and their child is like not that way. And this is not an excuse, but it is an acknowledgement that it is a grieving process. I always let those parents know too, like, you cannot take that out on your child. Like, that is not your child's responsibility to help you through that grieving process. You cannot berate, belittle, or antagonize your child because you are grieving the loss of what you perceived as control over who your child is going to be. It's a process, but it's not one that should be the burden of the child to carry. And I do think grace is a really strong word, but I do think parents deserve a space separate of their child to talk about like the grief that comes with that. Yeah. And I suggest that they go to therapy outside of their children and they do not take that out on their child.
Yeah. I wholly like second that idea. I do think that there needs to be like support groups for black parents of black queer kids specifically, so that they can figure out what it is to navigate being a black mom or being a black father and now having a queer child, and how to like not do further harm for that child but create safety for them. Maybe that's something. Anyways, pushing forward.
I would tax them heavy because that's sorry.
I mean, they need it. There needs to be a learning and a learning curve, because I think there's so much of black folks already are just trying to survive, regardless of gender and sexual identity. Yeah. And so then they're like, oh, I made it this far. And now their kid comes out. I'm sure they're like both panicking for their kids and themselves. And
oh, absolutely. And gender in the black community is so different. And it's treated with much more importance in a lot of ways. This is not to say that because there's this narrative that black people are more homophobic. And I like to remind people who invented homophobia, like the Europeans. However, like I say that to say, like in a world that is extremely anti-black, where our genders are treated or used to like villainize us, like basically, like black people have been subject to brutality as a result of how they gender us in society. It makes a lot of sense why a lot of black people are more sensitive around gender topics. However, it is our responsibility to challenge these things and not to internalize the violent systems that we are beholden to every day, and especially not to aim it towards our children.
Yeah. Talk to me a bit about EMDR therapy. Okay. How did you get into that? What led you to doing that?
You ask really good questions, because I swear, I think people have like this one, like people think that I'm so, what's the word? People think that I have aim when it comes to this life thing, but I swear to you, like shit just be happening.
Alignment.
Like, alignment, thank you. We were talking about that yesterday. Alignment. I wanted to do EMDR, get into EMDR therapy for a while. I had an ex who's a therapist.
Damn. We'll unpack that in a second.
I had an ex who's a therapist too, and he went through the training, and it's a very expensive training. So I really wanted to get into it. The thing is, I was working in foster care at the time, and my job was like really on some fuck shit. They did not like that I had a social media presence. They found out about my social media presence, although I was getting like donations and stuff for the agency. I mean, I got the kids toys, like food, like you name it. Like I was helping the agency with my presence, but they didn't like it because, you know, companies get a little flighty around that. I got suspended from my job for 3 days because they found out that I had an Instagram. And I know this is like, it's so wild. And nothing I said was like harmful or against company policy. They just freaked out because they were like, you cannot have like, your presence is too much, and they didn't want any smoke around that. But I was contemplating leaving the job because of that, and I did leave the job eventually, but they were like, we're also offering EMDR training. I said, fuck.
So you stayed.
Yeah, I stayed.
Longer than you should have.
Yeah.
Another relationship with a nigga.
I thought it was like good though, because it was like, I got something from it, but that was like, it's really expensive to get trained for EMDR. So like training in it was like so good. And for those who don't know what EMDR is, EMDR stands for eye movement desensitization and reprocessing therapy. It's a somatic trauma therapy that focuses on memory and processing through traumatic memories. It is specifically for people with PTSD. It can be used for other things, but it's specifically designed with people with PTSD in mind. Like war veterans or rape victims. Like, it is really intense. Like, I tell people a lot, like, it's an intensive trauma therapy. A lot of my clients will come and be like, okay, I want to do it. And then they do it and they're like, that was a lot. I feel like I just like got in a fight. And it's like, yeah, it's intense trauma.
It takes you back through the situation, but you're able to come out with a different outcome and help your brain rewire. I've actually undergone EMDR now that you talk about it. It's intense, right? So I got to ask you this now, because you mentioned dating a therapist, and you're also a therapist.
Oh.
What is it like to date you? Like, are you mind fucking?
No. Oh my God.
Because you could be dangerous in that way though too, if you wanted to be. I think you are a sweet and incredible, innocent soul. But if you wanted to be a mind fucker, you could.
No. I mean, therapists are just people. Like, and I think a lot of people don't understand. Therapists are just people. No, for real. And my ex was just a person. We had like, what I will say is the conversations are different. We were breaking up and we acknowledged like we were tearing at each other's childhood wounds. Like we were not meshing well in that department because we just had a lot of stuff that we had to work on individually. And he was right.
Okay.
And yeah.
You're also really like spiritual and energetic and zodiac aware. And so are there any zodiacs that you absolutely won't fuck with?
You know, as much as I do care about astrology, I don't try to let it get in the way of how I date too often. There are energies that I don't think I'm as compatible with compared to others.
Like which ones?
Leos.
Okay.
I can't stand a Leo. Aquariuses, although like I've had some little Aquarius shorties like trying to slide, but they're so weird. Like, I just don't understand them.
Aquariuses can be very fucking weird.
Yeah.
I like it, but they can be weird. Yeah.
See, I don't like it. Like, I ain't gonna hold you. I was talking to this Aquarius. I'm not about to put my tea out here.
Put it out there, right? No, this is why we're here. This is why we showed up today.
I was talking to the Aquarius, and I don't know, we were just talking about like how we saw the situation that we were in. We've gone on multiple dates. To me, that's dating. And I had a conversation with him like, oh, like, are we dating? Because I just want to know what's happening. This motherfucker was like, we're just like getting to know each other. I said, nigga, I can go get to know like so many other people.
Which
like,
he probably was. What that means?
no, I was still.
Okay.
I ain't gonna spill my tea, but like it's just like the definition. We had the same idea, but we had different definitions, which is fine. Like I'm okay with having conversations around that. But the issue was after that, this motherfucker was so like he was so scared to have an emotion, like that
Aquarius.
Aquarius. When I was like, oh, like what are you feeling about this conversation? Like why are you moving different? Like. And yeah, I ain't gonna get too deep into it.
Okay. Staying on zodiacs, best sex.
Ooh. You know, that's hard because it depends on what type.
Of sex? Mm-hmm. Okay, what are the types of sex? Walk me through it.
Whether you're topping, bottoming.
Okay. Best
like,
top.
Cancer.
Best bottom.
I'm scared because I don't know who's watching this.
Not your bottoms be toxic, they be ready to fight.
Sagittarius.
Okay, damn, that's the dangerous one there.
Yeah.
That's what I picked up from this. Best oral.
Scorpio. Ooh, Capricorn.
The way that memory came back.
I'm not. Yeah, sorry about.
Okay.
I'm scared about who watched that. Don't. If you my hoe watching this, I'm sorry, baby. I'm not. I meant you specifically. Yeah.
Okay. Who, if you could choose any of the 12 to just, not throw away, but just gently place to the side, safely away from humanity, what sign would that be?
You're not gonna be mad.
Wow. Wow.
You promise?
Go ahead.
Pisces.
That's crazy.
I'm sorry. Y'all are toxic. Y'all need to go in timeout.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Um,
Not you though. Not you. Not you. You're a special one.
I'm a Taurus rising. Yes. A Virgo moon, Taurus rising.
Yeah, you're cool people.
I'm very grounded.
Yeah.
Anyways.
The others.
So what the Pisces do to you?
Where do you want me to start? My dad's a Pisces.
Okay, damn. See, that's not fair. That's already not fair.
Look, Pisces be cheating down. Like down. Down.
Did you cheat first?
No.
See, because
define cheat. Let me stop. No.
See?
No, I didn't. But Pisces, this is my problem with
we
Pisces.
cheat best, if that's the thing.
I don't even think that much. I'm a Pisces moon, so I have like this be on at all times. The last nigga who tried some slick shit with me, it came to me in a dream, and I like found out because I had a dream about it.
Intuition, yes.
And I be knowing, like, so it's really hard to get one past
you
me.
can breathe different. We be like,
Who the other bitch?
right.
Who the other bitch? Right. Who is she? It's like, nah, like it really do be like that. But Pisces will tell a lie, but to them it's really not a lie. Like y'all will believe your lie.
That's enough of that. So, you're
Sorry.
what now? A Taurus?
I'm a Taurus, yeah.
Okay.
The most loyal, faithful sign.
Tell us about the worst aspects of a Taurus.
Stubborn. I always tell people don't date a Taurus that hasn't gone to therapy. Like you don't want to do that. That's not good for you.
My mother.
Possessive, controlling, bossy, rude. A lot of like emphasis on the possessive. Tauruses without therapy can be very possessive people. Yeah.
Yeah. Like a little possessiveness though. Got me a Taurus.
And you wonder why I say Pisces are toxic. So, okay.
I know you said you've gone to a couple of Deviant events.
I have.
Yes, and Deviant has like this this mission to really like free the minds of Black queer folks.
Yeah.
Do you think that is working at all, or does it make any sense to you as somebody who is like very well in tune with mental health and well-being?
I think you are building an empire that is going to change a lot of people's lives but the parties are lit. Like the parties it's good parties. And you know what I say? I say anything that brings the people together is like powerful because that's where the power really is. So that is power. Like I think it is doing it in many ways because you're bringing people together. And that's something a lot of people struggle with doing.
Talk to me a little bit about body positivity. What impacts does body positivity have on the individual, their mind, and
oh my God, existing in a world again with these rules that are spoken and unspoken that tell you what is and is not acceptable, who you can be and who you can't be, it really does fuck with people, and it could really influence the way that people see themselves and the esteem that they have as a result. And that feeds into like body positivity, whatever you want to call it, like, but self-image is basically what it is. Our image is shaped by a world and a society with all of these nonsensical like rules about who can and cannot access like resources and power. And I think when we challenge that, which, you know, by nature your work does, it really does help people to have better like self-image and show up differently. But yeah.
Okay. We have a value that we call drug safety because the traditional term of harm reduction assumes harm. You're a therapist. You care about our community. You're of our Black queer community. Are drugs inherently harmful? And is it like unsafe to like have this, or is it irresponsible to have this value where we're saying drug safety?
Again, you know, when I say it a lot, but people be worried about the wrong shit. Drugs are drugs. They're not bad. They're not good. They're just like literal drugs. Like it just depends on how a person used them, whether it's a healthy relationship or not. It doesn't really matter. People can be so judgmental, I know, but it's like just ridiculous. It's drugs. And I think it's important to create environments where people can use them safely. I don't believe that drugs are bad. I don't think there's anything wrong with like creating environments where people can, you know, enjoy themselves and use substances, which everybody does.
Yeah. Or shit, even learn just the safe way to do it. Yeah, because niggas gonna do what they do anyway.
Exactly.
Just like sex. So talk to me about sex positivity. How does that show up? And yeah, what is your take on sex negativity? How does that show up in how the way a person shows up in life?
We should let people be who they are. So long as they're not harming themselves or other people, who cares? If everybody's consenting and of age to consent, I really don't give a damn.
So you said Deviant is like a lit party. What's been your favorite experience at Deviant?
Oh my God, that's a good question. I think y'all had a Halloween party like a couple years ago. Your Halloween party was really lit. Like,
what city were you in?
New York.
Okay, yes.
Yeah,
Okay.
like the Halloween party was cute. Y'all had a Pride event. Like I went to your Pride event last summer. That was cute.
You part of this community too. You
Oh,
part of the Deviant community.
You know, thank you.
We
I'm always honored to be in more community.
Yes.
Thank you.
Okay, if you could design a world where mental health and care were accessible and affirming, what would it look like?
Mental health care would be free. All health care would be free, of course, but I don't believe people should pay for therapy.
Yeah.
I believe the government should be subsidizing mental health care. It is essential for people's functioning and well-being, so it should be something that is a right that people have. So I would make it free.
Love that. What do you hope people feel, remember, and carry with them after encountering your work?
My goal is, like, I call myself a community-oriented clinician because my goal is for people to walk away with the ability to build the community around them and the resources to take care of themselves. Yeah.
All right. And last but not least, are there any misconceptions about you or your work that you feel you want to take the time to correct right now? Or
There are so many misconceptions about me. Frankly, we could be here all day if I tried to unpack every single one of them. But a lot of people try to divorce me from like all of my experiences and who I am because they think people who are professionals who have degrees or who have like certain roles in society, like they think that I have to like dissect myself or disconnect myself from my humanity or how I engage with an access community. And that's a crock of bullshit. That's it.
Yeah.
And it's some hater shit. But yeah, no, that's pretty much it. I'm a human being, and I'm going to continue to be a human being. And any limitation you place on me because of my role as a therapist, that's your problem to deal with.
Period. And you're an incredible human being.
Oh, thank
and Shaheem,
you.
I just want to thank you again for joining us on this episode of Deviant TV. I do believe that this is going to be incredibly beneficial for so many.
I love the idea of deviating from social norms because it is important that we, again, challenge these systems, institutions, what it means to exist, what it means to be queer, the whole nine. And I think Deviant really does a good job at approaching that.
Wow. Thank you all for joining us on another episode of Deviant TV. This is a show all about humanizing the Black queer experience. I'm your host, Micah Marquez, and I want to thank my amazing guest, Shaheem, once again for joining us on this episode. If you don't already, you can follow Shaheem on TikTok at Shaheem. Just replace the first S with a 5.
Yeah.